Welcome, everyone. One thing I completely ignored for years during my flexibility and mobility training was my pelvis. I stretched, strengthened, and mobilized everything around it, but never learned how to control it. And looking back, my lack of pelvic awareness was a major contributor to all my injuries and dysfunction. Your pelvis is the foundation to how your hips, spine, and rib cage move. If you don't understand where they're positioned, it's very easy to think that you move well, but poorly in reality. And this is especially true when it comes to glute activation. How your pelvis is positioned greatly affects the function of the glute muscles and their capacity to exert force. There are three main pelvic positions, which I'm going to show you and get into right now. First, we have our posterior pelvic tilt. Then we have our neutral position. And lastly, we have the anterior pelvic tilt. None of these pelvic tilts are bad. They all just have their own specific purpose depending on what exercise and movement you are engaging in. One common mistake that most people make is overly correcting their pelvic tilt, especially if they find themselves constantly stuck in one position. An example of this would be if you're always finding yourself overly anteriorly tilting your pelvis during everyday posture and movement. So to fix this, you force yourself to keep a posterior pelvic tilt and avoid any and all anterior tilting. Though that might fix some of your problems, it will only cause new ones to arise. The main issue here is being stuck in one position without having control over the others. Your body is very complex, dynamic, and capable of so many different movements. Forcing yourself to remain in one position limits your ability to properly engage and activate the muscles at their maximum potential. I trained for years without paying attention to pelvic alignment, thinking tightness was my main issue. Though some of my muscles were definitely tight, that only resulted due to improper pelvic alignment, leading me to perform exercises with bad form and improper movement mechanics. Poor pelvic control keeps some muscles overworked while others stay weak. You could be doing all the right exercises, but if you're not paying attention to the minor details, such as how your pelvis is tilted, you will not be activating the correct muscles. One example of this is if you are ever doing an exercise for the glutes, such as a simple glute bridge, but when you're doing it, you notice you feel all the work coming from your hamstrings and lower back. Well, that comes from having a bad pelvic tilt for the exercise. But as soon as you fix your pelvic tilt, then that's when you will get the most glute activation. So that's why your pelvic tilt is very important. Now I'm going to show you a basic awareness drill that I want you to try as well. So all we're going to be doing is tilting our pelvis back and forth on the floor. So get into a glute bridge type position. And this is one of the easiest ways to get familiar with pelvic control. Here we can practice all three positions. So we have our posterior tilt, neutral position, and anterior tilt. This is also a great way for refining your breathing pattern and seeing how your breath affects your posture. For example, as you exhale, you're going to notice how much easier it is to brace your core, flatten your back, and posteriorly tilt. So we're going to do that. I'm going to exhale and tighten up my core, flatten my back, and posteriorly tilt. So I'm going to exhale. And your body naturally flattens out, and it's easier to keep everything nice, compact, and tight while keeping your abs engaged and your pelvis posteriorly tilted. And inversely, as you inhale, you're going to see how when I inhale, my body naturally puffs up my chest and naturally anteriorly tilts my hips. So I'm going to inhale. Notice how my posture changes. Exhale again. Flatten my back, posteriorly tilt. Inhale. Anteriorly tilt, my chest rises. And exhale. And just laying down here, playing with the pelvic positions and breathing, taking long, deep breaths is a great way to help reset and rest your body. So there's no stress, there's no amount of reps, no amount of time. You could just spend as much time as you want, as long as you get comfortable and start to become more aware of how to move your pelvis and its relation to your breath. It's never about preferring one position over the other because all of them are necessary. It's about being able to control and execute the correct alignments for the specific exercise you are engaging in. Knowing what pelvic tilt to use at the moment is what allows your body to move in the most efficient way possible while avoiding injury and discomfort. Once I focused on pelvic position, exercises felt more stable and less irritating. I was no longer performing exercises with an incorrect pelvic tilt, reinforcing bad form. I was able to get the most out of my training and my body no longer had to compensate. If this helped you, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for your time.